want to sit in the middle? Okay. In Hebrew we say, Baruch shehechiyanu v'kiyimanu v'hegiyanu lazman hazeh. Blessed is he who has kept us alive, sustained us, and brought us to this time. What a momentous occasion this is for us all. On behalf of the Hatzalah Board of Directors, we'd like to welcome you all and thank you for joining us as we celebrate this milestone together. I would like to personally thank all the lay leaders, political leaders, and all those who have so graciously given of their time and talent to contribute to the inception of Hatzalah of Michigan. Hatzalah was founded in New York in the late 1960s by Mr. Weber after he stood by helplessly as a friend passed away in his arms. Today, Hatzalah is the largest volunteer emergency rescue services in the U.S. with hundreds of branches around the world. Our goal is to augment this wonderful existing EMS service and help save lives together with our local fire and state organizations. As of now, I was hoping that Dr. McGraw would be here, but he's not here yet. So what we're going to do, we're going to ask, if I may, our two favorite mayors from the City of Oak Park and the City of Southfield to address us at this occasion.
Please.
Thank you. I am delighted to be able to welcome you here today to our new municipal campus. On behalf of my colleagues on council, Council Member Solomon Radner, Council Member Kiesha Speech, and Council Member Ken Rich. We are celebrating the opening of Hatzalah of Oak Park Southfield, a nonprofit local organization that volunteers provide support to a family in crisis. When you don't know where to turn, you can turn to Hatzalah. You know, the captain's job is to keep the crew safe, to keep the boat afloat, and to keep it pointing in the right direction. The person who does that for us in the City of Oak Park is our City Manager Erik Tungate, who has made all of this happen in addition to growing the city. So thank you, Erik Tungate. I'd also like to thank our Public Safety Director, Steve Cooper. He is Oakland County's community policing maven. Maven is expert for those of you who are Goyim here. So he welcomes all people in our community to partner with him in so many ways. He and his staff have done amazing things in Oak Park. Those of you from Southfield might not have heard of our ice cream truck that goes patrolling around to connect with the community. They give free ice cream to kids and to parents who give them a sad look. I think that they could also get something. This is another innovation by Director Cooper's Public Safety Department, open to everything new and better and partnering with others. We've got Gary Torgo here, who helped facilitate this partnership and who, in secret, has done so much good to so many people and so many organizations and wants no credit for it. Finally, thanks to you for being here today to celebrate this partnership with us. Thank you.
Well, good evening. I guess I'm the maven of Southfield. First of all, I need to introduce our councilman, Ari Montalbaum, who's in the back. And I have to give a lot of credit to Ari because he was sort of facilitated. He worked very hard with Bensi, who has really been the driving force behind this project, of course with Gary's help, but Councilman Mandelbaum really brought this forward. There was, we're going to hear from our fire chief shortly, and we have other public safety people here from Southfield. You're going to hear from them, but we had to figure out how this is going to work. It was not, it's a great concept, and it's been proven to work other places. We just really weren't that familiar, and obviously we all had the same goal. It's about life-saving. It's about making people comfortable in a stressful or traumatic situation when they're in a health risk. So we're very glad that we were able to work this out. We had a number of very, I thought, productive and successful meetings along the way. And through each question, we found an answer and how we could bring this to not only Oak Park, but also to Southfield. And I think that for it to be a success in Oak Park, it needed to have the numbers by putting the two communities together. I think that this will make the effort to bring this about, you got to have a critical mass, and I think we've achieved that. So I'm going to have to ask to be excused. We have a city council meeting starting in 5 minutes. And I send an apology from our city manager, who is beginning to conduct the meeting in my absence. So once again, I congratulate all of you. I look for this to be a great success. And thank you for asking me to speak here briefly today.
Thank you so much, Marian McClellan. Thank you so much, Mayor Siver. We really appreciate all that you've done and the people that you work with every single day in both of your cities. It's been really, really helpful to us in making us the organization that we are today. Oak Park and Southfield in the last couple of months, but the last couple of weeks in getting this together, there have been many individuals who have really gone out of their way to help us, and we really appreciate it. And we just want to say thank you. I would like to call upon the next speaker, someone who's a mentor to me and a dear friend, someone who, when I approached him many, many months ago with this idea to start Hatzalah in Michigan, not only did he jump at this opportunity to support us and offer his assistance in many areas, but Mr. Turgo has been there for us through thick and thin every single day, has done everything he possibly can to make this organization the organization that it is. And I would like to humbly call Mr. Turgo to share a few words. Thank you.
Thanks, Bensi. We live in an incredible community. Oak Park and Southfield are incredible cities and embraced the Hatzalah concept. You heard from the mayors, the city council. Bensi, when he first approached me, suggested that we should go to Chicago and see what Chicago has done. Chicago has an extraordinary Hatzalah. And we took a trip, a few of us, and it was a very meaningful opportunity. Dr. McGraw, I'm not sure if he's here yet. Dr. McGraw was with us. Is he here yet? Dr. McGraw was with us. He's the director of OCMCA and also of Providence, and now he's the director of Hatzalah, the medical director. Bonnie Kincaid, I don't know if Bonnie is here. She was with us. It was a unbelievable opportunity. Captain Medici was with us. Where is she? There she is, over there. Thank you very much. She was a main mover of getting us to organize this and to understand it. There were a lot of questions that City of Southfield and Oak Park had, and we walked through those questions. We had quite an interesting meeting with the fire chief in Chicago, who is very used to Hatzalah, and he got up and told us that he considers it to be one of the great programs that Chicago initiated with their community, and that was a big help to pushing us forward here. Director Cooper was with us on that trip, Steve Cooper. Ari Mandelbaum, the city councilman from Southfield, as Mayor Siver said, Ari was a very big help in making sure that this moved forward. I want to take a minute to thank Eric Hawkins, the chief in Southfield. I'm not sure if he's here, and Steve Cooper and Mike Pinkerton from Oak Park. These are extraordinary members of the leadership of their cities, and without them, would not have been able to do this. In our own city of Oak Park, Erik Tungate, he doesn't get enough credit. I think the mayor said it right. Erik Tungate, I've lived here nearly my whole life, is the finest city manager that the city of Oak Park has ever had. He is really, truly interested in the whole community, the diverse community, and he's doing a terrific job. So Erik, thank you very much. We have two outstanding mayors, Mayor McClellan, who's now in her, which term are you in, Mayor? In her third. Actually, Mayor McClellan has reached a new milestone. I think this is the first time she's running unopposed. That's a pretty impressive for all of us. So we know that you're going to win, and we're very glad. And Mayor Siver, who just left for his council meeting. I think they have too many council meetings over there. Johnny Menifee, I'm not sure if he is here, the chief from, oh, there he is, the chief from Southfield. What a terrific public servants that both of our communities have. Terrific. Fred Zorn, who's not here, who's the city manager of the city of Southfield. As you heard, he's busy running his city council meeting, and so we appreciate him, and if he was here, we would personally thank him. Dave DaCosta, I don't know if Dave's here. Dave from the City of Oak Park. Dave, thank you for making all that possible that we're going to see. I hate to mention all these names because I'm sure that I'm going to forget somebody, but it has been an extraordinary journey to bring our community into the City of Oak Park and Southfield, and the level of cooperation. You know, when we first started off, we thought, well, this is a really great thing. Why wouldn't everybody? Hi, Bonnie. I didn't see you there. So Bonnie is here. Thank you, Bonnie, very much. When we came, we thought this is like apple pie, and everybody's going to embrace Hatzalah. And with Bensi Asaroff, who's got the biggest heart in the entire community, but has trouble slowing down enough to explain anything. And so it took us a while to explain that we weren't looking to subvent the police and fire of the city or the emergency medical services. We were just looking to be an assist. And it took us a little while to get past that with our own communities, with our own mayors, with our own chiefs, with our own unions. But we got it together, and I think it's going to be a terrific and important community activity for both our community and the broad community, and for the leadership and both the police and fire and EMS of our cities. I've lived in Oak Park nearly my whole life. I don't think, and this is no slight about Southfield, I don't live in Southfield, but equally as good for Southfield, but there is no police force like the Oak Park Police Force. We are very fortunate here. On our trip to Chicago, we took this group to Chicago to see the Hatzalah of Chicago, and they were very helpful to us. And we barely had time to eat. We didn't have any time really to do anything. But on the way there, it was a little bit tense, and on the way back, we were a family. We had learned a lot, and we had seen what we had, and it was just amazing that the leadership of cities were willing to get on a plane and travel with us to look at something that we knew was going to be something very important to our communities, that they gave their time and their effort to. And I think it was that trip that really got us together. In terms of the Hatzalah leadership, I want to just introduce the board of directors, Bensi Asaroff, of course, who led this effort, and Bensi Schechter, who is now, I think, on his way to a Partners in Torah trip in Poland or Israel or I don't know where, and Nachi Soloff. Where's Nachi? Nachi. And the board of directors, Dr. Gedalia Cooper, Dr. Larry Kurz, and Dr. Mark Meisner. And I want to put in a special plug for a new organization that started called Chaverim, which is an organization with a phone number. If somebody could tell me the phone number, it's pretty important. I have it on my dashboard in my car. Chaverim is a new organization that started if you're stuck somewhere in a place where your car doesn't start or your tire is flat. They'll be there for you, and whatever the number is, if somebody could tell it to me, you call that number, and the number is, you don't have the number. Also, Schragmeyer's has everything. The number is 248-658-8111. Isn't that my cell phone number? Is Dr. Klausner here? I want to thank Dr. Klausner, who's also an important leader here in this organization. Two other things. I was at a business conference about 10 years ago, maybe a little longer, and I had a chance to sit next to Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher after she had retired as the Prime Minister of Great Britain, and she was speaking at this conference, and I was sitting next to her. So I asked her, Prime Minister Thatcher, tell me, what was maybe one of the worst experiences you had as Prime Minister? And she said, oh, yes, I know exactly what it is, and I remember it like it was yesterday. And I said, really, what was it? And she said she was invited to her first event at Buckingham Palace with the Queen of England. And it was her first time in a public gathering with the Queen. She was the new Prime Minister. She was very excited. She said she walked into the room, and the Queen was up in a chair, and she noticed that she and the Queen were wearing the same dress. And she was mortified. She's not sure she's going to get her head cut off or what kind of penalties there are. So she was just so embarrassed. And so after the event, she wrote a letter, she said, to the Queen to apologize for wearing the same dress the Queen was wearing. And she told me that a couple days later, she got a letter back from the Queen's secretary. And the Queen's secretary said, you don't have to worry. There was no slight. Don't have to worry about what you're wearing because the Queen never notices what the commoners are wearing. So I was thinking about that today, that none of us in this room live in a city where anybody is treated as a commoner. Every person in Southfield and Oak Park is treated like they are royalty because we live in a city that everybody appreciates, and we get far more than the taxes we are paying for the services that we get. And the fact that Hatzalah is starting off so strongly in our communities is because the political leadership and the city leadership and the community has gathered around us and embraced our community in a way that I think is unique across our country and certainly unique in our state. So on behalf of the Hatzalah Committee, we are very grateful to you, the leadership of the cities, you, the leadership of our police and fire. We could not have done this without you, and we look to a long, beautiful, continuing relationship with all of you, and we thank you for everything you have done for us. I now have you want to bring the bags and I'll call them off. So these nice gentlemen sitting here across this area did something that I could never do. They decided to volunteer to be members of the first Hatzalah crew, and they had to get state licensed through I think it's the National Registry of EMT. They had to go through real testing and real training. I did not volunteer for many reasons. I probably wouldn't have passed. But they are the first crew of Hatzalah that will be leading this effort for us, and they took a serious course. They did it right. They're trained. I hope that I never see any of you except in the synagogue praying, because I don't want to know from this. But we want to give you, yes, so every one of them is going to get, let me see that. They're not going to blow up or anything, right? Okay. This is the bag that we purchased for each one of them, which has all the equipment that would be necessary. Now that they're trained, you can take it back. Now that they're trained, and we're going to give that to them tonight as their first official part and parcel of their new effort as members of Hatzalah. By the way, I see Rabbi Neustadt in the back, the chief of the Council of Orthodox Rabbis. Rabbi Neustadt, thank you for coming. And so I'm going to call off your names and just thank you. And then sometime during this evening, you'll get these bags, and we hope you can keep them sealed and don't have to use them. But if you do, they're available to you. Rabbi Shmuel Aboud. Sachi Alswan. Sachi here? Not here. Is he here? Sachi? He's in the back. All right. Tzvi Siner. Moshe Davis. Matti Fry. Rabbi Matti Fry, sorry. Rabbi Shragi Myers. Rabbi Yisrael Levine. Where is Rabbi Levine? Is Rabbi Levine here? There you are, all right. Oh, okay, Mr. Yisrael Levine. I was wondering, when would you have time to do this? It's my chavrusa. Justin Goodwin. Shimshi Jonas. Rabbi Shimshi Jonas. Yitzchak Goldstein. Gabi Shmuley. So you might have to relieve him from some duties at a council meeting. Solomon Radner. Solomon. Rabbi Tuvia Schwab. Yona Paratinsky. Shmuley Winters. Yehuda Kranzer. Jeremy Minkin. Joel Blumenfeld. David Furman. Did I miss anybody? Chaim Cohn. Sorry. David Weintraub. You didn't give me the full list here, but David Weintraub. Who? Oh, sorry, Mike Feldman. Rabbi Herschel Scheinberg. Did I miss anybody else? Okay, so Mordechai Kranzer. Mordechai. There are also a number of political leaders in the room. I'm not quite sure who's here, but I want to thank you all for all of your help and for being here today. And without further ado, we are going to go over, let me just give one brief introduction about what we're going to see. So we needed an office for Hatzalah, and we didn't want to pay a lot of money, of course. This is an organization running on only charity and volunteers and raising money, and so we wanted to keep it reasonable. And we also wanted to be in a place that would be recognizable. And we had a very brief conversation with Erik Tungate, the city manager of Oak Park, and Erik said, you should put it in our campus, and we will take care of you, and we will make sure that it's done right, and we will charge you only what it really costs us. And Erik went to work. He rolled up his sleeves. He got the city council and the lawyers and the team at the City of Oak Park and the mayor to put their heads together to figure out the right space. And they did really a tremendous, tremendous job for us. We're going to go next door and we're going to cut the ribbon on the new Hatzalah office, which is fully equipped and ready to go. And then Hatzalah will be officially formed and in this community. The fact that it's in Oak Park does not mean that it's not also placed in Southfield. We're going to be using the Oak Park offices, but maybe when the lease runs out in 35 years, we'll come to Southfield. It's good he's here. And we will cut the ribbon, and we are very grateful to Oak Park for giving us this office and for making this a reality. And to all of you who came today, families of volunteers and members of our community, it is really good to see a unified and beautiful community, which is what we have here in Oak Park and Southfield. So thank you all very much. Let's go over to the ribbon cutting.